our 2019 champion, because he is a talented driver, and be good to see him get out there on track.
And a new point system for 2020. Keep track with this too. We also got a new format. Oh, excuse me, sorry. We also have a returning format. But what's new with this is that we have 4 heats compared to last year. That's the first time in series history. We've pretty much always carried 3 or 2 heats. Your top 2 advance from each to the final feature race. 1 driver from each LCQ, which can contain a maximum of 10 in each field, will advance to the final, and that is where we crown a winner and a podium that follows closely behind. But the critical part about this format is, Paul, you need to qualify well. We've only ever had 1 series winner who has started an LCQ, and that was Garrett Lowe back at 2018 at Iowa.
Yeah, qualifying is key around here because the overtaking is difficult at this track. But yeah, there's the points, and we've got that change in the points format as well, Jonathan, because we've lost a ton of points from the feature race, and that means that if you do end up missing out that feature race in the first couple of rounds, it's not the end of your championship if you do miss out on that feature.
No, it certainly isn't. A hat trick as well. Look out for that. That's when you take pole, win the heat, win the feature, clean sweep the round. That's going to be worth 29 points this season in comparison to 84 last year. Now, if we rescore the 2019 championship, we get a different champion. That would be Mitchell de Jong. That's how dominant he was despite missing 2 races. Let's take a look at your keys to victory for today's event here from the virtual Norway. And Paul, it starts with qualifying. You have good grid position in your Subaru, for example. You're going to be untouchable in the races, hopefully.
Well, that's what you're going to hope, but yeah, qualifying is key around here. Of course, we've got the mixture of when the track has worn in a bit as well. You can see how their setups differ between the different wear rates of the track. And the opening lap Joker strategy, if you're on the outside of the track at the start of the race, you have got the advantage of being able to take the Joker straight away because you cross over the finish line. So if you're on the outside line, take the Joker straight away as soon as you can.
Certainly is. It's one of the unique aspects of a circuit like this. You could see potentially 6 wide on the run down to turn 1 here at Lånkebanen. It's going to be a thriller of a beginning of a race. Now, we'll take a look at your Heat 1 grid. Qualifying's all over, and we have a Yokohama pole award to hand out. Yokohama Excellence by Nature. They are presenting this series. Brand new on board for 2020. It's good to have them. That will go to Mitchell de Jong. He comes back for Subaru Motorsports USA and takes, he's lost no pace. Last year for round 1, he didn't start on pole. He had to ease his way into the series. He'll be joined with Tommy Horman up there. Tommy Mäkinen, that is not Paul. 4-time World Rally Champion Tommy Mäkinen. It's just a namesake.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you look at that second row of that row there with Bobby Zelensky in 4th. Him and Mitchell are coming from double duty. They were on the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup at Le Mans just a couple of hours ago. So those 2 drivers, they've been in their rigs a long time. Will fatigue show here in this race?
Certainly would. Now, try and keep track with all the new teams. We're trying to do so too. These drivers, even a week ago, some of them weren't signed with teams, so it's all new to us as well. Great to see Tommy Horman returning. And Paul, people have been tipping Tommy Horman behind the scenes saying, hey, he's much improved compared to last year. They really think he's in contention for the championship. Let's see how he fares here in heat number 1 for the season.
Yeah, this is a new opportunity, fresh opportunity for all these drivers. Don't forget, it's a brand new season, brand new opportunity for everyone. So this is a fresh start, and if you think that you maybe didn't do a few things last season, if you competed last season, then, well, that's it. You've got a whole new start to this, and you can go in with a new attitude. So, yeah, definitely the opportunities are out there to get an early victory here. It's key to start a season well in any championship, but in Rallycross, if you get that early win straight away, then you just get so much momentum going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, most certainly. So in this heat, we also have Alexei Häkkinen starting from 7th. He was gifted a license, ironically or coincidentally, from his brother revoking his license from the series. Sad to see Joni Häkkinen not return, but with him not returning, that coincidentally Paul gave his brother the license. I guess it wasn't planned, but I guess it's also something they could take advantage of. Joni Häkkinen hopes to be back in 2021 competing with the big guns. As we're ready to go here for heat number 1, the lights will illuminate anytime soon. Oh man, I missed Rallycross. It's been a year, and every year I wait for this moment to commence the season. We've got a couple of Subaru Motorsports USA cars to the left, a couple of Burton Kligerman esports cars, and a whole lot more. Oh, one jump starter there as well. That was Tommy Horman. That's going to be a penalty for him in the set esports car. We go green for 2020, and what a poor way to begin the season. We've got 4 cars heading to the Joker, though.
Yeah, straight away, people taking the opportunity to get the Joker out of the way. Great to see that Subaru livery out there in Rallycross once again. But yeah, big jump start there. That's going to affect him massively in this heat race. And it's how they then go on into that LCQ for Tommy Horman.
Wow, that is insane for Tommy Horman. The worst way to begin his campaign, but the best way for Subaru Motorsports USA to begin. They're going to lead the first lap 1-2, although they're yet to take to the Joker. Now that graphic on the left-hand side of the screen will update as the driver crosses the line. It'll light up, and you'll see whether or not the driver's taken the Joker. There we go. Your last 4 have all taken to it. Matamoros will cross the line soon. De Jong, though, this will be, Paul, if he can get it done, a potential 6th hat trick if he wins this heat, because he's already qualified on pole and then goes on to win the feature.
You're putting a lot of pressure on him here right now, but yeah, he's a talented driver. We've seen how he's able to cross disciplines throughout the whole of the sim on iRacing, and he is an amazingly talented driver. But still plenty of time for things to happen in this race. But those top 3 still sticking together, not taking the Joker yet.
And Alexei Häkkinen is keeping them honest in the VW. The Subarus are quickest on a fresh track, so those VW Beetles there will struggle, as well as the Ford Fiestas. They'll struggle the worst. As soon as the track starts to wear, those cars will become quicker and quicker. Your top 3 still yet to take to the Joker, and we see Tommy Horman all over the rear end of Häkkinen, although we do believe he has a penalty. No Joker this time around for your top 2 or 3. They might save it to the final lap, Paul, just to avoid some traffic.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could really think of as we go on board with Holman then behind that VW, and Häkkinen trying his best to hold on here, but Häkkinen's going to come out in the middle of the second pack here, probably behind Adrian Perez, well, just in front of Perez. So if he's not careful, if he gets involved in a fight here, it's going to cost him big.
And remember, if you don't actually advance, as we see De Jong launch it into your Joker, you still have grid position. Horman will take the lead. We're expecting a penalty here. No, he's not. De Jong appears up ahead. What could have been for Horman had he not false started. He could have had a free pass to your feature. We're expecting him to be demoted. Zelensky, though, critically remains in 3rd. How about Tommy Mäkinen, though? This is for your final transfer spot.
Look at this, Zelensky under pressure into the final corner, but up front, it's going to be De Jong going across the line.
So 2 Subaru Motorsports USA drivers begin the season on a high. And as the results update, it's confirmed Tommy Horman drops to last. That's going to hamper his grid position. And we head over to Heat 2 already. And it's going to include... well, there are the results on screen, I should say first. We're getting a bit rusty here. It's been so long, Paul, 12 months out of Rallycross. But Tommy Mäkinen just missed out on a transfer position. Here's your grid for Heat 2. Joni Ollikainen, the #1 ranked rookie, Paul, coming out of your qualifying series, will start on pole alongside Johan Hart and Otto Taskinen.
Yeah, that certainly is a tasty front row. Taskinen as well. We know how good he can be. Garrett Lowe, he could be a good shout for this one, the Lowenbro car. Whereas Jonathan Perler and Matt Booser for Williams Esports there at the back of your field. But a really mixed up grid. And Johan Haas, again, another driver, doing double duty from the Porsche race earlier on.
We also have Daniel Matrani too, starting from 7th. He'll be at the back of the pack. As the drivers and the engines rev, the lights illuminate. Heat number 2 underway already. Olli Kainen to the inside, should take to the hairpin. The outside drivers, including Otto Taskinen, scream into the Joker. How about Johan Harth with that decision? Not to go for the Joker, and he shoves Joni Olli Kainen out of the way to begin the season.
Big contact early on already here on lap 1, and Hart gets pile driven by Garrett Lowe as well, and it's going to be Lowe in the Fiesta to the front.
Garrett Lowe for Lånkebanen Motorsports, his 2nd season with the team. They had an entry last season, and this will be a dream story if he can get the Fiesta in the 1st position on a fresh track. He takes to the hairpin yet again, so does Harth. And unless there are penalties coming, Paul, because we have race control this season, Harth will hope that you'll take an advancement to the final. It doesn't look like at the moment with that move on Joni Olli Kainen.
Oh, look at this move to the inside. A little bit of rubbing between the two of them, but you expect that in Rallycross here. If you're new to Rallycross, a little bit of contact is fine, but just flat out punting people out the way isn't. So we'll have to wait and see. But look at Johan Harth then, on board with him on the roof. And over the jump there at the end of the lap. Harth still deciding to stay behind. Oh, spinner behind. That was the Dirtfish car.
That was Jonathan Paillet. So Jonathan Paillet for Jim Beaver Esports. There he is in the Dirtfish Subaru. Looked like he was taken out by Daniel Matrani. Daniel Matrani headed to the Joker. And have a look at this. Johan Harth shoves his way past yet again. And Garrett Lowe was bullied down to 2nd.
Bully is the right word for that. It was move over, out the way, I am coming through. And that's exactly what Johan did there. And in that Yokohama car, now wanted to move forward. We're almost at the end of the race here, just 2 more laps to go.
So we're still waiting for your top 2 to take the Joker. Let's see if Garrett Lowe has a bit of pace in that Lånkebanen Motorsports car to reclaim the 1st position. Now, unless race control intervene, these 2 should be advancing to your final.
Taskinen's not that far behind though. I think Taskinen could end up being at least 2nd here.
Yeah, excuse me. Exactly, Paul. So we can confirm he's taken to the Joker, and it looks like Otto Taskinen should win the heat because it's a 3.8 second delta. This is the final time round. Your top 2 take to the Joker, and yes, Otto Taskinen right there will take 1st position. Critical now for Harth to reappear ahead of Garrett Lowe, and they reappear ahead of Matt Booser now. Booser's in the mix for a transfer position.
Oh, look at that blink of an eye, and you've all of a sudden got 3 for 1 position. This is sensational.
Oh, issues for Matt Booser. That could have been a slowdown penalty. Same for Garrett Lowe. Garrett Lowe slowed down too, so it looks like Johan Harth will advance. Confirmation there. We've had word from race control too. They will not touch the incident anyway mid-race. And a drag race to the line there. How about that with Joni Olli Kainen? He'll be disappointed with that start to the season though, Paul.
Certainly will be after so promising. But there you go. There's your results on screen. Taskinen and Harth are your automatic qualifiers, and the rest having to go to the LCQs.
Time to look at your 3rd heat grid. John Robertson qualified very well, and he will start on pole alongside Hanson Williams Esports, Josh Fox. Hanson brothers have got their own entry as well heading into this campaign, followed by Set Promotions Team GRX as well. Gronholm RX partnering with Set Promotion 2 to house 2 more cars for Set Esports. Rasmus Toivonen will start with them on the front row. Connor Parisi returns for his 3rd successive season in Rallycross. Good to have him. Vicente Salas, the young man, will race in the VW Beetle for Andretti Autosport, followed by Cabot Bigham for Jim Beaver Esports. It's only a 6-car field, though, for this heat. lights on, and away we go. 5 laps of action yet again. How about that from Rasmus Toivonen? He tried to shove his way to the inside. He's going to accidentally take the Joker. Chaotic start already. It looks like John Robertson, though, leads heading into the turn 2 hairpin.
I think he had in his mind that he was determined not to go onto the Joker on that first lap, even though he was on the outside line. I would have just taken the Joker now, get it out the way, and really push on for the race, because he got a sensational launch off the line.
Brilliant stuff, but he's going to have to challenge John Robertson here, who's also had a rapid getaway. It looks like, Paul, the strategy has really been for John Robertson and the leaders, take the Joker on the final lap. We might not see it for a few more laps.
Yeah, they won't touch that Joker now until the end of the race. It'll be the last opportunity. As you mentioned earlier, why would you take that Joker lap, which would put you out in traffic? You might as well, for the majority of the race, you might as well just try and stay out front, hope that there's some mistakes further back or some fighting further back, and then get yourself through that Joker clean.
This is a very impressive start to the season for John Robertson. He was one of the best rookies last year. Now racing for Team Yokohama in the Advan Subaru. And look at the 2 cars behind, Connor Parisi and Vicente Salas. Connor Parisi is racing in the US Air Force Subaru. He should appear ahead of Josh Fox. These 2 squabbling. And this, remember, is for a final transfer position.
Yeah, Parisi, very determined. Oh, the Fox getting it all wrong into the hairpin. That's allowed Salas to make the move past him there. Good opportunism from Vicente.
Brilliant stuff as the VW Beetle comes to the track. And Vicente Salas for Andretti Autosport beginning his campaign quite well. They skip over the jump. Few connection issues for Josh Fox, didn't harm anybody. Connor Parisi, though, this will be a brilliant start to the season. He is racing in that US Air Force Subaru, Paul. He just completed 7 years of service for the US Air Force 2 the other week.
Oh, and it's a great livery as well. I really like that. As look at that battle behind him. Salas and Fox still ongoing. Fox, we saw glimpses of genius from him last season, but he wasn't consistent enough. Hopefully he'll be able to make a few changes and really push on this season.
Oh, who said overtaking wasn't possible at Lånkebanen? Here's Josh Fox alongside Salas yet again. The 2 squabble into the hairpin. And now he's reclaimed that 3rd position. This is important for your LCQ events.
Yeah, they've slowed each other down, though, and not been able to challenge Connor Parisi for that final qualified spot. Look at that down the inside from Fox.
Now, Robertson's taken to the Joker this lap, so he should be fine to win this event. John Robertson will head through to the final. Connor Parisi joins him in 2nd. Josh Fox in 3rd. Vicente Salas demoted to 4th there with that brilliant pass. We also have Cabot Bigham, Rasmus Toivonen rounding out the field. Toimonen's actually, to be honest with you, is quite hilarious, is stricken off the side of the racetrack. He's a DNF, I think, for this event on the final lap. Something weird occurred for him. But there you go. Those are your final results. Brilliant start to the season for the young 18-year-old John Robertson. And there is supposed to be a grid there for Heat 4. It'll come up shortly as we sort it out. Here it is now as the session switches over. Jake Robertson. Now, don't get confused. That's the youngest brother, Paul, of John Robertson. Only 15 years of age. He's the youngest driver in the field.
Yeah, and what an opportunity it is for him to be out there on the track and to be at the front of this field for this final heat race. We're already at Heat 4. This is sensational, but there's some talent there. Garrett Maines, Bo Albert, who last week when we were watching the pre-season race, pulled off a sensational move. So yeah, definitely good field.
Got a Nitro Circus car in there, which is cool, the 2nd of 2. Bo Albert's racing at the moment. It's 4:30 a.m. where he lives. He's that committed to impressing in the World Championship. As we are about to go green for the final heat of the day. Just waiting on one car to join the grid. Not sure where Killian Del Olmo is for Set Esports. He's going to miss the race. We go green for Heat 4. We're going to have to leave him behind. Jake Robertson on the inside lead so far. Garrett Mains to the Joker. He's the only driver to take to the Joker this lap.
Yeah, that's an interesting tactic at the start there, but he's going to get himself some really nice clear ground there. Banging, bumping and barging Bo Albert into the leader, Robertson, but it's right at the hairpin. He can just get it round the corner. Look at this, 4 into 1. It's not going to go here, surely. No, it isn't.
Oh, goodness me. Contact behind. Sindre Silva involved, and that was with Jake Robertson. Jake Robertson and Bo Albert are good friends, and I don't think you'd appreciate that shove into turn 4. Very physical extracurricular activity, but it looks like the top 2 so far are Lamin Sivu and the Andretti Autosport car of Bo Albert.
Yeah, Bo is a talent, that's for sure. Nice guy to chat to, and he certainly is taking this opportunity. He found it a bit of a struggle to start with for qualifying for the series, but he really came on towards the end of the qualification process, and having him in this series is showing now you take your opportunities, and that's exactly what he's doing here.
I'm very proud to represent Andretti Autosport in the Gainsbridge VW Beetle, or the V-Dub. I love saying that. Always feels good. Alari Laminsivu, though, leads. Alari racing for Chad Reed 22 Motorsports. That's named and owned by Chad Reed, who is a two-time two-wheel champ. Oh, no, excuse me, multiple-time two-wheel champ. I'm going to read that again, Paul. And it's great to have him on board for the campaign.
Yeah, it's some of these teams that are getting involved in this. It just shows the appeal of sim racing, and especially this Rallycross World Championship series presented by Yokohama. These names getting involved, even Yokohama getting involved in supporting the series, it just goes to show what competition there is out here for this championship.
And he's driving that CBDMD Subaru, as you can see. And they head through the hairpin. You're allowed to cut that, so there's going to be nothing here for round 1 in terms of... well, there is dispensation on that. I just heard Bo Albert clout the barrier there too. I'm not sure if you heard that on the coverage, but I certainly did. Bo Albert, though, should advance. They should take to the Joker this time round as we switch over to the final lap. Launching it, and Bo Albert, I think, hit the wall.
They're launching it over the gravel on the outside there, trying to get themselves the best run into that Joker lap. They stay at the front here. Garrett Mains in 3rd place then. He was the one who took the Joker on the opening lap, so he's in 3rd place now.
Now, if you're watching Rallycross for the first time and you're wondering what on earth happened on the first lap, this is what this sport's all about. It's physical, it's tough, and it's what we love to see. Within reason, though, as Alari Laminsivu officially receives a transfer spot to the final along with Bo Albert to begin the season. Those are your heats done as we look at your final race results. Kilian Del Olmo missing. We'll try and find out what happened to him, but technical issues for the Set Esports Team GRX driver left him out as we look at our grid for your first consolation race. There'll be 9 drivers in this. Tommy Mäkinen on pole position. Josh Fox alongside him in the Hanson Williams Esports car. Perez will round out the front row. Behind them it will be Vicente Salas, Alexi and Cabot Bigham, your 2016 GRC Lights champion, followed by Marcos Matamoros. You've got Rasmus Toivonen and Tommy Hallman, who is arguably the quickest driver in this LCQ, who false started in the heat and will have to start towards the back of the pack. Just 12 months ago, Tommy Hallman began the season with a podium to his name. We'll see if he can repeat. Only one ever driver's won a race from your LCQ. That was Garrett Lowe, as we discussed, in Iowa in 2018. Will we see another here out of your LCQ? Lights illuminate. We are about to go green for the first consolation race of the day. Good start from Mäkinen, although Fox has launched it, and he's going to take straight to the Joker here for Hanson Williams Esports. How about Adria Perez trying to bully his way past? Perez makes the move into the Joker. The overall lead, though, goes to Tommy Mäkinen.
Yeah, Mäkinen, he made a bit of a slow getaway to start with, but then in that second phase really got going as there's a bit physical further back. Of course, we're limited with how many progress through into the feature race here, so these drivers, they're all desperate to get that winning spot.
So at the moment, as that timing screen on the left just updated now, you'll see the Joker laps light up in a moment. So Josh Fox took to it with Perez. Rasmus Toimonen's in there too, so Fox has lost another position. Cabot Bigham's out of this race, so Cabot Bigham is not competing at the moment, and that means his round one is done. He'll be eliminated, but let's see the gap. It's a 3.8 second delta, and at the moment, Adria Perez will potentially fall in second at the end of this, and that's not enough to advance.
No, it's just that winning spot here in this LCQ, the C main, and these drivers are desperate to get that. But right now, Tommi Mäkinen's in that hot seat, and he's got a decent lead, but it's not comfortable. I would say it's okay.
And this is the worst thing that could happen right now for Perez. He's stuck behind Häkkinen, and he has to make a move on track. And Perez, who is not a rookie, although he qualified from the Pro Series, he did compete last year but wasn't able to retain his license. Only the top 10 in the standings were. But again, we look at that 3.8 second delta time, and it's getting worse for Perez now. Tommi Mäkinen looks to have this transfer spot, at least one hand on the transfer spot, if that makes any sense. And now it's up to Vicente Salas in second in the VW. Will he make it work and potentially transfer to the final?
Mäkinen, 1.2, 1.1 seconds between him and Salas. He is in a really comfortable spot right now, and he's looking dominant here in this race. But surprise of the race, and for a surprise of the opening week, has to be Tommy Holman. That one mistake shows how one mistake can cost you throughout an event here, as on to the last lap into the Joker.
And Vicente Salas just off camera. I'm not sure if he hit the wall, but he screamed into the Joker. There is the Oberto Beef Jerky VW. And here we go. This is a mad scramble for traffic. And this isn't really going to matter because everybody's going to be eliminated, of course. There is Tommy Holman, who'll be lamenting this poor round one in his Set Esports Subaru. The good news is for this point system is that it'll be a little less dramatic than it was last year. But Tommi Mäkinen is coming through the final hairpin, and he will transfer. He'll be the only driver to transfer. We're going to say goodbye to everybody else behind. But good stuff for Mäkinen, who is racing for CR22 Motorsports this season. As we look at the final results for your first consolation race. Big names out, Josh Fox and Tommy Holman.
Yeah, but the Marwan Sports LCQs here, Tommi Mäkinen, he'll be delighted with that. Grid for this one then, Garrett Lowe and Garrett Mains on the front row along with Joni Olakainen. You've got Jake Robertson, Matt Busa. You've also got Sindre Silva as well. Your front two rows of the grid. And yeah, these drivers, they're going to be pushing now. 9 cars again. And there you go, Daniel Mitrani, Deloma and Paella as well there in your 9 cars of the grid. But well, this is it, Johnny. This is the last opportunity to qualify for the feature.
Here we go now. Critical for Olakainen here on the outside to take to the Joker. We'll see if he gets a good getaway. We go green for the final consolation race. Drag race, what a camera shot that was. Olakainen does scream to the Joker. Brilliant for him. It'll be an absolutely demoralizing start to the season if he doesn't advance. To the lead, though, is the Fiesta for Lone Bro Motorsports of Garrett Lowe.
Yeah, Lowe and Mains battling it out into the hairpin. Mains to the inside, but look at the run, the launch that Lowe gets out of that corner. Those two have had many battles amongst each other, and they're at it again.
And the more they squabble, the more beneficial it is for Joni Olakainen. He's now caught in the traffic, though. But I think he's got the 3.8 seconds on the field. To the Joker goes Garrett Lowe. I almost said Garrett Mains there. Mains continues in the lead. And Garrett Lowe appears behind Olakainen. Critical right now for Olakainen to pass teammate Killian Delon up ahead as well. Oh, this is a chaotic LCQ.
I think that was smart from Lure, though. Just stop getting involved in that battle with Mains, who hit the wall on the inside of that corner then. So Mains is trying to push it to the limit, and he's coming under pressure from Jake Robertson here. He wants by. Oh. Nothing happened in the contact between the two of them.
And Del Olmo took to the Joker, so it's going to open the doors for Ollikainen here. These two squabbling for no reason, really, because only the winner will advance to the feature. But it's good fun watching this scrap right now. Garrett Mains, who is in his second season in Rallycross competition. He's hit the wall again, Paul. And so does Jake Robertson. Will this impede Joni Ollikainen? Both of them... Will the seas part for Ollikainen here? They're 3 wide at Lånkebanen.
Oh, no!
Ollikainen's turned around.
Oh, big instant. Big drama at the start of this lap here, lap number 4. Does that mean that Daniel Matrani is going to take the win? Well, he's in the lead, but he hasn't taken a joker yet. Garrett Lowe is your first joker.
And it's critical right now. You know what? Garrett Lowe needs to keep this clean. Matrani is the oldest driver in the field, and he's very experienced, and lets him through, understanding that there's no need to scrap. Garrett Lowe, if he keeps it together for one more advance. But what heartbreak for Joni Ollikainen. Set Esports have had an abysmal start to the season after winning the championship in 2019.
This is what I mean. We expected to be fireworks in these LCQs, and right now these Malin Sports Series LCQs are giving us drama full of plenty as Lure heads on through, as the rest of them still squabbling in the back.
At the end of the day, Garrett Lowe advances. Matt Busa has impressed in his, well, should be one and only round. He did also attempt to qualify for the Rallycross Series, gifted a wildcard entry, but there you go. Garrett Lowe will advance. Matt Busa, say goodbye to him, although he did impress on such short notice to replace Sammy Matty Trogan for this round. Killian Del Olmo rounds out the 3rd position. There's the rest of the results on Sindre. False start, and that's why that's just changed on screen. That's why he's dropped down the order, but absolute carnage. It was unnecessarily, really. And for Joni Ollikainen, he'll be lamenting that, but we head to a 5-minute warm-up period that some of these drivers will need. Some of them have been out of the cockpit, such as Mitchell de Jong, for quite some time. Paul, as I always say, we get a breather.
We certainly do, and get our chance to get a breath. These drivers do as well. And, well, definitely, this will be interesting to see how this final one goes.
Don't leave us, because there is a lot more action to go. We're going to decide a winner after these messages from our associated partners. I'm sure some of the drivers wish they had a Yokohama Geolander in that LCQ there. We are back, though, and we're ready to give you some great news, because we have got a series coming up soon for Rallycross that will precede our Sim Racer series, and one man who you might be familiar with will let you know all about that.
Go. Hey guys, Travis Pastrana here, and I cannot wait for the return of IRX on iRacing starting in 2 weeks in Daytona. Gonna be epic. Be there, guys.
Very similar, Paul, to what we had earlier on during the COVID-19 global pandemic, at least in the initial phases. We had the Subaru IRX All-Star Invitational, and our All-Stars are going to be back on track soon enough here as they support the series for the iRacing sim racers here in the Rallycross universe.
This is going to be great to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they get on compared to how our World Championship drivers get on in these events, and see how they mix it between themselves and give themselves a little bit of door banging, shall we say.
Well, I'm just glad I get to take my breath back because it has been a chaotic first round. It's what we expect from Rallycross. We're in a warm-up for the moment. 10 drivers left to fight it out for maximum points. Now, critically, Paul, what we haven't discussed are our virtual track resets. Much like we have in the real world, the track gets cleaned up between different events. We do that here virtually before this warm-up session. And I can guarantee you right now, the Subaru is the quickest car on a fresh track, and that means all your VW drivers and all your Ford Fiesta drivers are going to be out there doing as many laps as possible.
Yeah, they certainly are. They want that track to be completely churned up and as worn as possible, because those Subarus are so good on a fresh track. And these drivers right now, they're just out doing a little bit of warm-up, just so you're not missing anything. Everybody, we're just in a warm-up phase whilst these drivers get themselves prepared. But yeah, it's going to be tricky to see how this one all pans out. Of course, how the results went from those heats will set the grid. 10 drivers though. It's a shootout for the win, and 10 laps to decide who is the winner in this opening round of the championship.
3 of these drivers in this feature have won a previous feature race. That includes Mitchell de Jong, Otto Taskinen, and Johan Harth as well. So we could crown a new winner from the other 7. Remember Otto Taskinen last year, Paul, at our Lucas Oil event. He won a chaotic round, which had a lot of drama, a lot of troubles, and he was racing for Positive Sim Racing back then. Ended up taking a victory to be remembered, and so far has been the only one of his career.
Absolutely. We see the conditions, by the way, up on the screen. Track temp, 1 degree cooler than the air temperature. Wind speed, well, that's not really going to affect things here. Mostly cloudy, though, so nice and cool for these drivers. It's going to be an interesting opening lap with that, with those conditions, though. Cold tyres heading into turn 1. As soon as you hit those brakes, it's going to be a little bit squirrely, shall we say.
I love how they simulate the virtual Norway by making it very cold up there, right near the North Pole. It's 18 degrees Celsius for those who may not be familiar with Fahrenheit. But we're about to head over to our final feature race of the day. Oh man, I missed Rallycross, and we got a thriller to begin here. We finished our Marwin Sports LCQs, and now we head to the feature. And it will begin with Mitchell de Jong starting on pole. The 2018 champion who could have repeated in 2019, but he'll be looking to reclaim that trophy for Subaru Motorsports USA. He will start alongside Otto Taskinen, who represents Williams Esports for this season. John Robertson will start on the outside on the front row. What a performance from John Robertson. Let's see how he finishes here at the end of this feature. Alari Lamansivu behind on the second row, followed by Bobby Zelensky and Johan Harth, the Frenchman, who has a couple of race wins to his name in this series. And then we've got some rookies behind. Bo Albert, Tommy Mäkinen. They'll be sandwiched by veterans Connor Parisi and Garrett Lowe. Garrett Lowe is one of 3 drivers to have competed in every single event in Rallycross history on iRacing. So, Paul, who do you tip here for the win? de Jong does look very quick. He looks unstoppable.
I do have to say that de Jong has done a great job. I think he's going to get the hat-trick here. Although Taskinen, I think, will push him all the way in this event. But Garrett Lowe, if you're Garrett Lowe right at the back, do you just sit back at the start, wait for the chaos, and then just sneak through?
Or maybe make up few positions and potentially be part of the chaos. I don't know. It's something he'll have to... It's something these drivers pre-prepare. I remember speaking to Cabot Bigham last year. We had him for commentary for round 5 in Phoenix, and he said sometimes for just one race, you can spend upwards of an hour discussing strategy. And that's exactly what some of these drivers would have been doing in the upcoming weeks for testing here for round 1. Here we go. Final feature race coming up. There'll be 10 laps of action. 1 joker available for the drivers. We're going to crown a winner, and the podium that will follow closely behind. Lights illuminate. And we go green from Norway for the final time. Brilliant start by De Jong to the Joker. Goes Otto Taskinen. Robertson to the Joker there in the Yokohama car. De Jong leads, though, ahead of Otto Taskinen. Taskinen's now sandwiched down the back of the pack. Lamansivu second. Bo Albert with a brilliant getaway in third.
Yeah, that was a great launch from Bo to get up into third there. All sorts of shenanigans going on. Parisi involved, Bobby Zelensky involved in that as well. Garrett Lowe, I said he was going to work his way through, and that's exactly what he's doing. Up to your lead.
Look at the lead. Lamansivu, an overtake on your 2018 champion. Now, will De Jong take to the Joker? It's a good opportunity, and he does. The number 24 Subaru driver will take 3.8 seconds to maneuver around this. He will appear, though, alongside John Robertson. Robertson's clipped by De Jong, and these two will squabble. It looks like De Jong, though, has appeared ahead.
Yeah, that's crucial for De Jong because of the fact that Robertson had taken that Joker on lap 1. He's looking alongside. He got great launch out of that hairpin. And all of a sudden, De Jong under pressure. He was under pressure from Lamansivu to start with. Now he's under serious pressure from Robertson.
And brilliant maturity by the young 18-year-old of John Robertson. He backed off out of the dirt, knew that De Jong had essentially the racing line and didn't want to cause an accident there. So now they squabble for potentially the victory. This would be a classic victory for Robertson if he can pull off a move potentially into here, turn 4. One of the best overtaking opportunities on the circuit. But remember, Paul, the longer this race goes, the slower those Subarus become.
Yeah, that track, it wears down really quickly here, and these drivers definitely are going to be pushing to the limit. Shout out to Bo Albert, second place at the moment, yet to take his Joker lap here, but also Johan Harth not that far behind him. Another car taking to the Joker, and that's going to be Taskinen, I do believe, who jumped onto the Joker, so that's another one there. But yeah, Albert doing a good job, but he's under pressure now from Harth as there's contact between the two of them.
And Harth again had to back out, so he's quicker than Bo Albert here in the Andretti Autosport car, but he'll try and get that Yokohama Subaru up ahead. Lamansivu, this will be a dream win if he can get it done. The Joker Delta to Mitchell De Jong, 3.8 seconds. Lamansivu takes to turn 1 to the hairpin. He's up by 4.5 seconds. He could win round number 1 here. We could have another surprise winner, just like we had 12 months ago with Sami Matti Trogan.
Look at this then. Above and below, there's your leader on top, and there's De Jong down there in 5th place, and he's almost with Garrett Lowe, who's yet to take to the Joker, and that's something that De Jong can't afford to get stuck behind. We saw how it affected other drivers in the heats and in the LCQs. But De Jong, right now, he's got to be desperate for Lowe to take his Joker lap.
And here's the critical part, Paul. Lamansivu, if he took to the Joker now, would appear ahead of De Jong. De Jong would fall in second, ahead of Bo Albert. But Lamansivu doesn't want to be held up by Garrett Lowe, potentially, the traffic, and that may hand the win to Bo Albert in the Andretti Autosport car. He'll be lamenting right now if the drivers behind take the Joker on the final lap, and that may be the case. De Jong, 10th by 10th, is creeping closer towards Lamansivu. Now down to 4.3 seconds. 3.8 is the gap we're looking for.
Yeah, this is getting really, really tense here, and Bo Albert, he's not giving this one up either. In second place at the moment, of course, pending their Joker laps, but Bo, in that VW, he'll start to come into his own here with the track wearing in, and that Subaru at the front of Lamansivu certainly having little different lines he's having to take compared to the VW driver of Bo Albert.
De Jong now a 10th slower, 4.4 seconds. Bo Albert, though, quicker than Lamansivu. That VW Beetle is getting quicker here.
Lowe took to the Joker, so De Jong has been set free here.
Yep, he's got a bit of clear track. De Jong's also being hounded. Very impressive pace by John Robertson, who's driving for Team Yokohama. Also represents the Apex Racing team in the sim racing universe too. But it doesn't look like Robertson, since that first lap, is going to make a move here on De Jong. He needs to find a lot more pace than that. Harth in third, yet to take to the Joker too, and they're catching him. How about this, Paul? What a cracker of a first race. Couldn't have asked for a more thrilling first round.
Oh, this has been brilliant to watch, brilliant to be involved in, and this one isn't over yet. 2 laps to go, and everyone pushing to the limit. So the front the front 3 are queued in now to go for the Joker on the last lap. It's all down to that final lap, and look at the gap. De Jong to your race leader, 3.9 seconds.
This is critical.
Contact.
Oh, Lamansivu's made contact with Bo Albert. That could cost him critical time, as they will scream to the Joker here on the final lap. Who is going to take the lead? Albert's going for the victory. Tries to shove Lamansivu out of the way. Now where is Mitchell de Jong? De Jong's in 3rd. Contact with Bo Albert. They're going to be squabbling for your final podium positions. They're going to let Lamansivu run away though. Bo Albert into turn 4. Bullied out of the way. That's going to promote John Robertson into 3rd now. Albert out of your podium positions.
He'll be spitting feathers.
Exactly. Lamansivu, though, is going to be victor. What a surprise for the 22-year-old from Finland. For Chad Reed 22 Motorsports, he wins round 1 for 2020. Oh, what a race. De Jong in 2nd. That was an insane finish. De Jong will not begin the campaign like he did in 2018, but he'll do it like he did in 2019. John Robertson with a podium to his name. What a brilliant result for him. The 2nd podium of his career. Tommy Mäkinen ended up getting ahead of Bo Albert there. Bo Albert, though, Paul, that would be, you know what, a bit of heartbreak to not end up with a victory or a podium, but still proud to end up in the top 5, and oh so close.
And Mitchell de Jong was showing the experience there of using the old front bumper to move the driver out the way, and that's exactly what happened there to Bo Albert. We'll hopefully get a look then at that last lap again, because that was absolutely sensational. And de Jong, I didn't expect him to be behind Albert and Lamansivu at the start of that 2nd corner there, but de Jong getting his nose to the inside and just bullying his way past Bo Albert.
Well, we're going to recap this absolutely chaotic feature after this short message from one of our associated partners at Dirtfish.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Oh, ready to wrap up. An intense finish there for round number 1 of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Subaru. Here are your feature results yet again. We rounded out your top 5 there. Brilliant results for Chad Reed Motorsports with Lamansivu and Mäkinen 1st and 4th. They will lead the team standings. We have Johan Hath for Yokohama as well, down in 6th. Teammate John Robertson with a podium. Robertson will be ecstatic with that. Hath, a good consistent performance though, ends up in 6th. Garrett Lowe, remember, gifted that position in your Marwin Sports LCQ, making the most of it and getting a good strong haul of points in 7th. Corrado Taskinen for Williams Esports. His teammate not here today, didn't have that moral support in a sense. Ended up in 8th. Connor Parisi will be glad with that. He struggled to make feature races in 2019. That is the way to begin your campaign in 2020 for Ed Carpenter Racing. And Bobby Zelensky for Subaru Motorsports USA. We saw him turned around on the first lap. Decent job to recover, only 11 seconds behind your leader in Lamansivu. And Paul, let's take a look at that final lap. Where do we begin?
Well, where we begin is the Joker. The 2 leaders taken to the Joker. That was Lamansivu and Bo Albert. They both go to the Joker. Bo made an audacious move to the inside of the Joker lap there, but Lamansivu able to get the run out of it. And then look at this. Albert just getting contact with de Jong. De Jong gets a nose to the inside, and then de Jong sees the opportunity, looks to the inside. Albert was already... Well, Albert already had the back end out there. when De Jong went to the inside. So it only takes the slices of contact to then just push that car around further. A bit of craziness there on the last lap, which gives De Jong a second place. But what a performance from Laminsivu.
Well, we saw Bo Albert do something similar to Jake Robertson back in your heats. Bo Albert receiving return serve there. But hey, credit to the Australian. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. He would have been ecstatic with a World Championship victory in his debut race. But that goes to Laminsivu. The rookie will win. And Paul, interesting stat for you. It's now 3 seasons running that we've had a rookie win the first race.
Yeah, it's crazy, is that every time we seem to have a rookie come out and get the results here. So yeah, good results for Laminsivu, and a good result for the team as well to start off so strong in this championship.
We're now going to speak to your third place finisher, John Robertson. John, we got you?
You guys?
John, congratulations. Your first event for Team Yokohama. Wow, what a thrilling way to conclude round number 1. I'm not sure if you expected that, but you could have potentially won this event, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. Kind of, we had to joker on that first lap, or we would have just got held up on the outside of T1. So didn't really have a choice there, and we ended up getting held up by the people that hadn't jokered, but ended up working out right.
And talk about the improvements from last year. I mean, this isn't your first podium in the series. We know that. But today, the fact that you are matching the likes of Mitchell de Jong and some other competitors on pace, you've surely got to be pleased coming out of round 1, knowing that the Subaru can be quicker at some other circuits.
Yeah. I didn't really have any expectations going into this. So be on pace to have a result like that in the first round as well. It's pretty good.
And finally, who gets it done for you? We know a lot of hard work over at the Apex Racing team. You're now representing Yokohama with Johan Harth. Johan, I think, should still be pleased with P6, Decent result for him too. Good, strong haul of points for the team.
Yep, that was good to see Johan there. I think he was struggling a little bit. He kind of didn't have a good starting position. But P6, still good points for the team. So yeah, just want to say thank you to SDK, Simputers, Yokohama, and Advan.
Lovely stuff. We'll leave you alone, John Robertson. I'm sure you're going to celebrate that for a little bit. Hey, you're racing just rooms apart from your brother, aren't you? So I'm sure he'll also come in and give you a bit of celebrations, maybe a bit of banter too. Why not? Good stuff, John Robertson. We're going to speak to now second place runner, Mitchell de Jong. Paul Smith, you will be stood alongside him shortly.
Yeah, certainly. As we get Mitchell into the broadcast room here, and Mitchell, I mean, you had a good day earlier on, good haul of points earlier on in one World Championship. Now, second place. I'm sure you'd have preferred the win, but still, second place, a really good result here.
Honestly, I'm pretty stoked with this result. It's been a very long day of racing. Very different disciplines. It's very encouraging to have such a strong result like this. Pretty much the whole event was going perfect, I would say, up until turn 4 of the first lap of the feature. I just kind of got a little bit wide out in the loose stuff where it's a bit low on grip, and unfortunately, that's all it takes. As you can see, just lose that track position, and kind of had to force my hand, make a little move with the strategy. It nearly worked out, but just catching a little bit of traffic. Sometimes myself just not hitting the that line right in turn 4 cost me a few tenths, and really in the end you can see that's pretty much the whole thing there. But second, I'm so stoked with that. That's such a good result for the Subaru guys, and it's super cool to represent them in this. And yeah, it's great to be back on the podium.
Absolutely, and that final lap, it got a bit crazy there, didn't it? How with the others coming in off the Joker and you having to muscle your way through. Was that a bit of experience, Rallycross experience coming in there from you?
I hate that the race kind of ended with contact. I think it was pretty fair, just hard racing with the contact in the corner before, and also turn 4. I think we were both trying to make a move or cover the other person off, and it's I think a racing deal where we just kind of met in the middle. It's unfortunate for Bo. He had insane pace. Would have liked to see him at least hold on to third if I was able to get around him and we didn't have any further drama. But he definitely deserved to be on the podium here. But pretty stoked with this one still, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Mitchell, all the best then for next week as well, and well done on today's results.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And we're now finally going to speak to your winner. Alari, we got you over there? Going to try one more time. Alari Lemon-Seaview, do we have you? Our race winner for today. Please tell me we got you. All right, we'll try and figure out some technical issues for Alari Lemon-Seaview then, see if he's available. We got to speak to your race winner before we conclude. But Paul, man, that is a dream victory for him in his rookie race. And you know what, Chad Reed, I'm not sure if he's awake at this time of day, but he'll be celebrating if he does wake up in a few hours.
Yeah, you can't ask for better than to come in to the feature race and to get a result like that at the start. Don't forget, he started on the second row of the grid in that feature race. He was 4th place, and he ended up at the front in the end there. So a really, really good result for him and for the team, and they will be absolutely made up and delighted that he was able to get that result there.
Well, if we don't get Alari, we will try and speak to him sometime soon. This is what happened last year too. This is deja vu. There's a lot compared to 2019.
I'm just glad I'm not the producer this year, that I'm pulling my hair out at that. But yeah, these things do happen. But overall, what an opening round of the championship here. Great racing, great action here. It really was impressive to see here.
Yeah, it certainly was. Now, a couple of other results we'll talk about. Tommy Mäkinen, Alari Lemon-Seaview's teammates. We discussed, not 4-time World Rally Champion, Tommy Mäkinen, but for him to come 4th in his rookie event too, a great way to kick off the campaign. These drivers as well, we talked about the Pro Series. Joni Ollikainen would be a bit disappointed by not making the feature, and we know he's one of the best out there in Rallycross. But everybody else behind him coming from the Pro Qualifiers pool, it's very even playing field. For whichever driver you take from that Pro qualifying, you don't know who's going to be best on which certain day. And we saw today, it can be a lottery sometimes.
Well, one thing I will say is that those drivers coming through those Pro Qualifiers have that momentum behind them. They've got all that experience, all that practice of being involved in such an intense atmosphere. Those qualifiers aren't easy, folks. I can tell you that. And to have that momentum coming into the first round of the championship, it's how you want to get going. You want to get going on the front foot, and that's what we're seeing right here today.
Now, we just heard word from Chris Leone as well from iRacing that Chad Reed texted him. He's having a great day. His kids are doing some BMX. And he's also selling a box van he's been trying to sell for years. I don't know, get in contact with Chad Reed and help him out with selling that. But hey, he's delighted. He's happy. And a 1-4 for him in the first inaugural event. Something to remember. A couple of other results down the order. Williams Esports with Otto Taskinen in his first race for them. Something to remember too, Paul, is that Sami Matti-Trogan does return next week. Yeah. For Williams Esports, and he's still in contention for the championship. Let's not forget, the same way Mitchell de Jong was last year.
Yeah, you mentioned that perfectly there. You know, de Jong missed 2 events last year through other things, and he still pushed Sami Matti-Trogan to the end of that championship. Really good. I want to give a quick mention as well. Garrett Lowe for Lowenbro Motorsport. Great to start from 7th to move up to 7th. Start from 10th and finish in 7th. That was a great result for him as well in that feature race in the Fiesta.
Certainly was, and he could potentially repeat in a couple of weeks' time. This is where our next round is going to take place. It's at the Daytona International Speedway, virtually, though, around the long layout over there. We don't visit the short layout this season. But Paul, it's one of those circuits when you join iRacing, it's one of the first ones you experience in Rallycross in your rookie licenses.
Yes, it's a track that you know from the get-go in Rallycross. It gives you plenty of opportunities. You've got the jump as well, not long after the finish line. So you go over that jump and straight away you're onto the brakes to get yourself around the next couple of corners. So it is a challenging venue, a challenging track, and there is plenty of opportunities there for these drivers to make some moves in that one. Of course, the Joker lap, they can't take it immediately. They have to wait a lap and then they can take that Joker, but it cuts to the inside. We start getting these Jokers where you actually gain a bit of time rather than losing it like you did here today.
Let's speak to Chris Leone, who's been hard at work behind the scenes at iRacing too. Chris, this has been a phenomenal first round. It's been I don't think people understand how super stressful this has been behind the scenes. But you yourself, how did you think about round one there? What did you think?
Well, first of all, Johnny, Paul, Tyler Maxon on the boards, Tyler Hudson in the control booth. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone who watched, everybody who has gotten behind this series. I mean, we changed the vision pretty heavily on this championship, inviting in the official teams and some of the support that we've gotten. I've been texting with people all day, and they've just been super anxious and anticipating this. And we got to announce All-Stars 2 weeks from now, so thank you also to Travis Pastrana for jumping in and announcing that for us. What a race. That was incredible. I know it's Rallycross, so there are going to be a lot of hurt feelings, and I am sure that my desk is going to be filled with feedback on Monday morning, and you know how feedback goes, but this was a fun time. If this is what we're in store for the rest of this season, wow, it's going to be an amazing year. We do have a week off after this one, give everybody a little time to reset, decompress from the sort of free agency procedure and everything that we've done behind the scenes, and 2 weeks time, get back to it at Daytona, and everybody be able to approach it fresh, put anything that happened on track here in hell behind them, and then we get into the meat of the season. It's going to be a really exciting time. And again, thank you everybody for your support on this series. What a fun time.
And that's something, Chris, as well, fans should remember, is that it is not a draft. It was a free agency format. So these drivers were able to negotiate with the teams on well, there were some limitations, but they were able to negotiate where they wanted to go.
Yeah, and some really cool connections here. I mean, like I said, I've been texting with Chad all day, and he is just over the moon excited. You know, I've been texting with just all sorts of people throughout the day. It's opening day. Everybody's anxious. Everybody's excited. Everybody wants to see what's going to happen in the first race. And did we get it right going in? And how are these new partnerships going to work out? But it's been a really fun time. The sim teams have been amazing behind the scenes in all the work that they've done, embracing this, recognizing what we're trying to do for the series. You know, whether that's Apex, Altus, Coanda, you name it, they have all been massively supportive. Vendaval, you know, certainly Williams and Set, Stephen English and UC Pinamaki have been immensely helpful. Jim Beaver, you know, working with Ed Carpenter, all of these different alliances behind the scenes, all these different teams that have come in. I feel bad because I feel like I'm just name dropping if I go through the entire grid, but what an amazing effort by an amazing group of, you know, dozens, hundreds of people to put this together. So really excited about how this season's going to go. And I think we're going to have a title battle down to the wire at Sonoma in December.
Well, UC is going to be trying to forget about this race. Set will be looking forward to the next week, hopefully, because none of the Set cars, none four of them even made the feature. We're going to try and speak to your winner one last time. Alari Lemonsevu, are you there? Do we have you?
Yeah, finally, I'm here.
Awesome. Hey, congratulations. That's all we wanted to say. That is the best way to start off your career, with a win.
Yeah, definitely. The qualification didn't went well. I mean, in practice, I really have did way better lap times, but it's always when the race starts, it's like the head will not work, of course, in the same way. But after that poor qualification, I just thought, okay, now like all or nothing, and it was success 10.
I tell you what, like you got to watch that feature back. That was intense. And I was watching the gaps between you and Mitchell de Jong throughout the race. Were you doing the same, knowing that you're going to take the Joker on the final lap?
Yeah, definitely in this kind of European style of rallycross tracks, if you are leading, usually it's the best way to take the Joker in last lap. So as I was leading, I just tried to hang on to the last lap and take the Joker 10.
And talk about the battle with Bo Albert. He was getting a bit he's getting a bit physical with you, wasn't he? He had the tap at the hairpin, which I thought potentially it was very close. We're watching it on screen now. You're only a couple tenths ahead of Mitchell de Jong. And then again into the Joker. Were you worried that Bo was going to snatch P1 from you?
No, actually I didn't think like anything at all. I just tried to focus to driving, and so yeah, actually I didn't even check like where others are. I just hope that I will come to all right position from Joker, so it seems it was all right position.
Hey, last thing, I tell you what, you got a lot of people to thank, I'm sure, and you'll be congratulating teammate Tommy Mäkinen too on a brilliant P4. Who gets it done for you?
Sorry, can you repeat?
I was going to say, who'd you like to thank for today's win?
I think everybody. I mean, our team have done nice job with the setup things. So of course, thank you a lot to Tommy Mäkinen and Otto Taskinen, and also thanks to the team CR22 and my sim team Vendaval Sim Racing.
Well, thank you very much. We heard from Chad Reed as well, Alari, that he's absolutely delighted with the victory. So you might want to have a chat to him after this race and get yourself a 10 times pay rise if you could possibly get that.
Let's see.
Well, I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning that. That is it, Paul, for this round. We are going to head to Daytona next. We spoke about that. Looking forward to it.
It should be an amazing event. Again, Daytona, one of those great tracks for Rallycross. So you've got plenty of opportunities. Nice, a wide track there as well. So you can make those moves into the hairpins. And, wow, we've just got started. The best is yet to come here today in this series.
Yeah, that next race will be in a couple of weeks' time. That's where these 600 horsepower mean machines will be back racing again on the 10th of October. And that's where we head to the Daytona International Speedway, which hosts round 2 of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. Coverage, of course, provided by iRacing and RaceSpot TV. Thanks to everybody who joined us for today's broadcast. From myself, Jonathan Simon, Paul Smith, Tyler Maxson in production, Tyler Hudson and Chris Leone behind the scenes, and their entire iRacing crew, we will say so long from hell. Our winner today is Ilari Lamansivu for CR22 Motorsports. Who will it be in 2 weeks' time? Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Nine rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship.